Hi, I'm Sarah Studdard with People for Bikes. Thanks for joining us in this series as we share our passion for making biking better for everyone. To help communities benchmark their progress and establish goals for future improvement, our Places for Bikes City Ratings program provides an annual assessment of your city's biking network, the collection of trails, bike lanes, and quiet neighborhood streets that help people get where they need to go and travel safely on two wheels. Berkeley, California, a university town with roughly 121,000 people, is a true 15-minute city, with most essential services within walking or biking distance. Not only is there lovely recreational biking nearby in the East Bay Hills, but about 10% of people commute by bicycle in Berkeley. But Berkeley didn't become a great place to bicycle overnight. To learn more about the city's evolution and its low-stress neighborhood bikeways, known locally as bike boulevards, we spoke with Mayor Jesse Arreguín.
Berkeley is a bicycle city, and for nearly 5 decades, we've been a leader in promoting bicycling as a mode of transportation and recreation. In 1971, Berkeley adopted its first bicycle plan that laid out a citywide network of bikeways. We have created a low-stress network of bikeways off of our main thoroughfares. But more recently, we've been building protected bike lanes and infrastructure on our major streets in order to create a safe means for people to commute to and from work, school, and home, and to also increase the number of people in our community that are biking. I also think that with this pandemic and the repurposing of our streets for parklets and slow streets projects, that we need to make those investments permanent. We need to reclaim our streets from cars and reprioritize our streets for people.
Berkeley was a leader when it came to creating neighborhood bikeways, and today there are multiple bike routes to get to any given destination. For low-stress networks to work, however, the infrastructure needs to be continuously invested in and built upon. In order to continue iterating and improving bikeways in your city, it's important to solicit support from elected officials.
As mayor of Berkeley, I don't have a driver's license, so I walk and I bike as my primary means of transportation. I'm a recent e-bike owner, and having an electric bike has really changed my life. And so I really think micromobility is really critical in expanding micromobility for those first and last mile options. We have a great regional bike share program, and we're looking at expanding that to electric bikes. I also think that as government officials, we need to walk what we talk, and we need to, if we're really committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and really changing the way that we live and changing mobility, we need to demonstrate that through our own actions. There's strong support on our city council, within our public works department, and within our city administration for bicycling as a mode of transportation. Biking not just as a transportation strategy, but it's a climate action strategy.
Still, Berkeley isn't perfect. Although people from diverse backgrounds bike, there are disparities in access and how safe people feel doing so. Recognizing that, the city has recently undertaken efforts to rethink traffic enforcement, which, as it stands, inevitably affects Black and brown people on bikes. Through an initiative called BerkDOT, Berkeley is working to make bicycling more accessible for everyone.
Last year, we launched a really exciting initiative to look at transforming our approach to traffic enforcement. It's really rooted in 2 goals. It's rooted in addressing systemic racism and also in implementing our Vision Zero policy. In Berkeley, despite our history as a progressive leader, a disproportionate number of African Americans and Latinos are stopped by our police department, whether on bike, whether on foot, or whether by car. We're not immune from the issues of systemic racism in law enforcement. And we've seen tragically in our country how some of these routine stops have escalated into people losing their lives due to police violence. So, if we are really committed to ending systemic racism and racial justice, we need to implement in everything we do, our housing policies, our transportation policies, law enforcement policies. Last year, the Berkeley City Council launched an initiative to create an equity-focused Berkeley Department of Transportation, or BERCDOT, that would be staffed by unarmed, non-police enforcement personnel. And then this is also really critical to our Vision Zero policy, because if we're gonna really reach that goal of zero fatalities and collisions on our streets by 2028, we need to do traffic enforcement better. Our streets need to be safer. So we think by creating a new Department of Transportation, where all of our transportation work is done, traffic enforcement, capital planning, bike programs, our transit programs, that our micromobility programs, that we can really promote transportation and mobility in a anti-racist lens, and one that's focused on health and safety of people, all people in our community.
Berkeley continues to lead when it comes to building a network of neighborhood bikeways. Buy-in from leadership and novel initiatives geared towards making biking in the city more inclusive have ensured that it continues to be a great place for biking in years to come. Thanks for joining us as we looked at what makes Berkeley an amazing place for riding bikes. Visit our City Ratings website for more tools and resources that will improve the health, livelihood, and future of our streets, cities, and planet. Together, let's create a better world through bikes.